one of the reasons why I texted you. You said I'm done with the Tush Push when you were part of the crew in Kansas City, seeing it for the umpteenth time. And man, you know, it helps to be part of a crew with great professionals and 90 cameras, I think. And that shot that they had right down the line of scrimmage, when you could clearly see the Eagles were false starting and it wasn't called. Yeah. Was that the play that caused you to say you were done with the Tush Push?
I think it was a combination of things. I think there were 6 in the game, but there were really 3 that stood out. Well, 4. There was the 3rd and goal play where they ruled Hurts short and it looked like he scored. And we got to spend 2 minutes reviewing it and looking for the football and all these bodies. Then on the 4th and goal play, they false start that doesn't get called. They false start again later in the game. And then the last one where I made the comment was Eagles are trying to get the first down to run out the clock. They run the Tush Push. It's a big pile. The Chiefs come out with the football. They're waving. They have the football. The officials don't do anything. And I've got Brady and Burkhardt looking at me in the booth like, what's going on?
Right.
And it was just a visceral reaction where I was like, you know what? I am done with this play. I'm proud of myself that I didn't say I'm effing done with this play, because that's where I was in that moment. Sure. And it kind of took on a life of its own.
So why are you done? Like, what?
I was thinking about this on the way here. I'm gonna present my argument 3 different ways.
Please.
Okay, 3 different ways. First, we'll start with health and safety. Now I don't think there's no hard data that says this play is any more dangerous than other plays in the game or short yardage plays, right? So I don't think that's necessarily a strong argument that, we have all these injuries.
Yes.
But the league has in the past, I think about low blocks and some of the chop blocks and some of the things they've outlawed. There wasn't a ton of injuries, but the league said this is putting our players in a position of unnecessary risk. Let's be proactive versus reactive. Mm-hmm. So let's not wait for somebody to get hurt on a play like this. Let's say, okay, this is unnecessary. We don't allow the defense to push in field goal formations because the league felt it was dangerous, right? We're pushing these teammates, the down linemen, into the offensive formation. So I think from a health and safety perspective, being proactive versus being reactive. The second argument I have is that it's a competitively unfair play. It is. When you think about the defense, if the defense hits the running back at the line of scrimmage, stacks him up, and drives him 10 yards back, the offense isn't going to lose 10 yards, right? You got forward progress right there. But we allow the offense to push and now gain an advantage in that instance. And it's also a hard play to officiate consistently. It just really is. And it's never been legal in the history of the NFL. You go back, I was talking to Joel Bussert yesterday, longtime head of player personnel, yes, at the league office, liaison to the NFL competition committee, and a historian of the game, and he was reading to me from the 1938 rule book, as one does on a random Wednesday. And the language in that book about aiding the runner was almost verbatim to where it was in 2005 before it came out. So it's never been legal in the NFL until 2006. And so because the people that created this game and made the rules, they wanted to kind of separate it from rugby, right? This is more a rugby play. It's not a modern football play. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted to separate it from that. And that's where I think, it's never been legal. Why do we allow it? And the third thing is, just as a fan, it's not a fun play to watch. I mean, think about the Eagles. Saquon Barkley last year has one of the most incredible, he's hurdling people backward, right? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't we rather watch Saquon Barkley try to get a first down, or some other than this, just all of these bodies and pushing? I just don't love it from an aesthetic standpoint. You want to excite me about NFL football? Let's watch the fourth quarter of the Giants-Dallas game. Let's watch that. This Tush Push thing again. That's where I'm at on it. But obviously, look, it's legal. Eagles do it better than anybody. Good for them. Mm-hmm. League's got to get 24 votes. They couldn't, and it's here for at least this year. So, but I don't think they would be like if the Tush Push was banned, we would now just see Saquon behind a fullback. We might see there are still quarterback sneaks, which are going to still be happening. They've always happened. They're just, I'd imagine, just as difficult to officiate. Maybe this one makes it more difficult to officiate because
there's sometimes maybe three people piling on top of the quarterback because that's the way the momentum takes them when they're pushing him.
That's exactly right.
So
these challenges aren't unique to this play. Like you said, short yardage plays are tough to officiate.
Right.
And I think if we get rid of this play, the Eagles come up with a quarterback sneak, I think they're going to be just as successful. I really do. It's just this idea of pushing the ball carrier, which has never been legal in the history of the NFL. It was never officiated that way, so they took the language out. And in hindsight, that really was a mistake, because if that language had stayed in the book, even if you don't officiate it, this play never comes into existence.
Do you know why they took it out?
Because it just wasn't being officiated, and they felt like, okay, if we're not calling this, why is it in the book? And right, the tush push didn't exist back in 2005, 2006.
I know, yeah.
So, but again, taking that language out allowed, however many years later, for this play to be born, and here we are watching it. Again, I don't think when you talk about NFL football and what it means and why people love it, it's not that play.
So knowing the competition committee and the way it works, and knowing membership and the way they vote, and knowing the meetings in which these all come together, as well as you do, 22-10 last year being brought up, and it's 2 votes shy of being voted out. Do you think that this is the last year we do see the tush push? What do you think?
I think it's going to depend on what happens the rest of the way, right? This is week 2, short-term memory. If nothing happens, there's no controversy.
They're going to run it multiple times. And the Eagles are on national television 100%. Or on standalone games on Fox.
100%.
Nonstop. I mean, it's going to happen.
The chances that something's going to come up later in the season are pretty high. I really believe that of those, right, there were 10 teams that voted to keep it, 9, not the Eagles, and 9 other teams. Of those 9 teams, I know there were several that felt like the Eagles won the Super Bowl. We're not going to take the easy route. We're going to be, the ego, and we're going to stop it, and we're not going to be seen as we couldn't stop them. They won the Super Bowl. I know for a fact that there were some clubs that had that in the back of their minds and might have been a factor in voting to keep it.
Sort of like the defense and the tush push. We're going to be the ones to finally stop it.
We're going to be the ones
We're going to be the ones that are going to stop it in the competition, not competition committee.
Correct. And look, the Eagles they're better than anybody at it.
They sure are.
And part of my frustration at the game was that the Eagles normally don't false start. They usually line up correctly. And it was like, okay, now if you're going to have this play that nobody else can do, and now if you're going to gain an advantage and the officials aren't going to call it, it just added to the frustration in the moment.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.